But they're going to use that as an excuse to upcharge all the online students.
Yeah, right.
They're not going to lower your rates for the in-person students. They're just going to raise the online students' rates.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, man, if they're going to be doing this for everybody, I'm really surprised that they're not going to be lowering tuition.
Oh, fuck that. They already got you on the hook.
Yeah, I don't even know if, it's not going to really affect me as much just because, I do the GI Bill, but I know they're going to be getting theirs. Their colleges are.
Oh, of course they are. They're going to, they're going to get their money from the student loans with the blank check the government's written everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Bread Circuses.
Hello, yes, and welcome.
We're back.
Yeah, last week I had my mom come down here to Texas to visit her granddaughter for the first time. So
I had a chaotic week too. So yeah, just trying to get back into the swing of comedy and shit. Speaking of which, did you see that fucking shit show on Lavetti Vegas's status?
I did. I commented on it. I like Lavetti Vegas, man. I like him.
He's a nice guy. So like, I had a couple people ask me like why I didn't jump in. I'm like, well, there's nothing positive from me jumping in the dog pile on that. That's gonna
exactly. All I said was like
something
about like, geez, what do you call you, the N-word or something?
Right. Like no, you're like, wow, this got like 200 comments.
Yeah. I was like, damn, man, this is crazy.
There's this shit show between like 30 comedians. And then the last comment, you just see you. Wow, this got 200 comments.
Yeah, dude, I was surprised. I was like, dang, man. Like, it's neutral commentary. I didn't take a side. I just commented on the whole thing as a whole.
So here's my thing on it. Like, I'm going to be careful how I word this because I know both of them. Mm-hmm. And I really do like Lavetti Vegas. So there is a culture war in the comedy scene right now.
It really seems so, huh? Because I know
Ashley McCormick is not on either side of that culture war. He might try to be on one side, but he's not accepted. It's pretty widely. So here's my thing: it's like, and I'll let you talk in a second because I want to clear the air on this once and for all. He goes by Florida Man. We've put him on shows, yada yada. So I think with the quarantine and the protests and the riots and everything, the unrest and everything that's gone on, and everyone just being locked up and forced to social media where everyone's got a loudmouth fucking opinion, I think...
Especially comedians.
Exactly. So I think that pushed everyone a little bit closer to the edge. And I think you had people like Ashley, which is a man, he is a man, who were already on the edge, and that pushed them off the fucking deep end. That's... Because I knew...
Yeah, because it's a pretty crazy time now, like, with everything going on, so...
Because I knew Ashley beforehand. Always been a weird guy.
He has been. I've seen him do stand-up before.
Yeah.
I saw him, like, when he was first kind of starting out at the open mics.
Yep. Always been a weird guy. Never was like this until the quarantine brought the ugly out of him, it feels like. As far as... I mean, I'm not going to come out and say I think anyone's a racist publicly. There were some posts that I could agree a rational person could look at them and go, oh, yeah, that's a little racist there.
That's kind of what I thought. Like, because I at first I wanted to be rational about it, right? Like you said,
right. I don't like to throw that word around, but
exactly. And some of this stuff, I was like, I could see how somebody could take that in that way.
Well, like, when I look at your Facebook wall and you've posted every 2 minutes for the last hour about how black privilege is being able to commit whatever crimes you want and still call yourself a victim.
Yeah.
That's a little racist.
That's not even like a little.
That's pretty fucking
racist, man.
Yeah.
Because like I won't go as far to say like anything's racist unless it's like really talking down on like a race as a whole, and like that's
pretty close. If it's not, it's pretty fucking close.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I don't know what's going on with Ashley.
I'll say this too about Lavetti, man. I've made black jokes at shows that he's been
So
hosting.
have I, and he's
and he thinks they're fucking funny,
dude,
man.
The last show I did, he was in the crowd, and I went on stage and I said, "Yeah, I wore slip-on shoes so Bubba Wallace wouldn't mistake my laces for a noose." And he thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, man.
You've
Lavetti's
gotta
not.
go. He's not one of those sensitive, far left progressive people. You've
Yeah,
got to
he's
take
not.
it far for him to call you a racist.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's a good point.
And yeah, so that was like my first impression when I saw, like, when I didn't even go through all those comments because I was like, dude, this is like fucking insane right now. You got to tread careful in Facebook threads that have like
Absolutely.
300 plus comments, but
yeah.
That's what I thought at first when I saw that. I was like, man, Lavetti's not a guy that even with all this going on, he's not a guy that's gonna like personally call out somebody for being racist very lightly. So like, yeah,
he treads carefully with what he says for stuff like that. And
he's a pretty intelligent guy. Like, especially with all the stuff going on, like I see a lot of stuff that he says, and I'm like,
he doesn't. He's not one for knee-jerk reactions. Yeah, which is easy to do right now.
Yeah, and honestly, saving like doing nuanced like conversations like that about race and everything probably should be saved for not on like a 600 character Facebook or Twitter posts. Like,
where
there's
people
a little
can
bit
just dogpile you. Yeah,
and it's just like it's such a nuanced conversation that you have. Like, I don't, doing it online is going to be pretty difficult.
So I almost interjected myself into that because he started talking about the roast with Nate.
Yeah, you feel good that you didn't get in on that?
Yes, I'm so happy I didn't involve myself. Here's my thing. You had 250 comments. Regardless, I've already told you guys how I feel about it. Regardless of who is right and who is wrong, that conversation went on for a week. People wasted a week of the short time we have here on Earth on a Facebook conversation. Yeah. Just fucking fuck each other and move on. Like, that's my whole. Though. Like,
it's like Lavetti had said on like his first thing. He's just like, I just want to do shows with him, man. Yeah. And like, you could just leave it at that. Like,
right. Well,
honestly, I would say, like, as I was kind of zooming through it a little bit, like Ashley kind of kept it going, man. He
egged it on. He should have shut up. Read the room. Shut the fuck up. You are in the process. He doesn't realize, man. He's in the process. And I say this because so Ashley used to message me and ask me what I thought about people. And I responded to him. I was nice to him because I've been that new comic on the scene, and not everyone, but there are certain people, because you got a good old boy system. There are certain people who are fucking dick to you because they're, this is the new guy. Fuck new guys.
They think themselves as gatekeepers.
Yeah, that's exactly. They consider themselves gatekeepers, and I don't want to be that person to anyone. So I was nice to Ashley at first. I thought, this guy's a little odd. So he'd ask me how I felt about people, and I always treaded lightly. I'd be like, he's kind of a tough guy to gauge. He'd ask me about certain people. He asked me about Lavetti a while back. I'm like, Lavetti's cool. What about him? And then he said just some crazy rant. And that was when I kind of started to take a step back and be like, okay, what's going on here? So I don't think, and I say this as nicely as possible, I don't think he's in the best state of mind.
Probably not. I mean, maybe he's like a 20-year veteran of the Air Force, isn't he? Like,
maybe he's drinking a lot. I don't know.
Maybe.
But I mean, to spend all day on Facebook picking at people, just knowing you're not doing any, you're like, he's not a 16-year-old kid in his mom's basement. He's a grown man with a wife and kids and a career, and to just sit there and pick at people like that all day long on Facebook is not the actions of someone who's a mentally healthy individual.
I think there's a little bit of a misconception about some of the like a lot of the comics in Omaha too, because there's a really large amount of comics in Omaha that are black, and in the mid, and that Omaha, like Kansas City, Des Moines area.
Yes.
And dude, we know a lot of them. Not very many of them are like the kind of like sensitive types. You know what I mean? You're fucking comedians. Like, everybody can laugh at shit.
I would go as far to say, I'm drawing a blank. Every black comic I've ever met in this scene has never been the type to call you a racist because you made a black joke on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to cross a fucking line with them. Exactly. And that's what happened. There's
Mhm.
no way around it.
Jokes are one thing, but like seriously, especially in this time of day or this time of like how it is,
Right.
man, you got to just be careful about like some of the like if you want to have that conversation, man,
Right.
have that conversation in person with somebody where nobody's going to be able to like screenshot it. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like you can
Yeah.
have that conversation with somebody in person and then somebody can be like, "Oh, well, this is why you're wrong," or "Oh, this is why you're right." And if you want to learn from that and move on, then
Right.
cool. That's like where everybody talks about like online where they're like, "No, we should have like all this stuff going on in the NFL with like dude, like with fucking Deshaun Jackson, man, like
Oh,
that
this
Nazi shit."
anti-Semitic shit. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like and even with Drew Brees cuz that was like on the opposite side of it.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you can't just like blackball those people.
No. But
And you
when you post shit on social media, unfortunately, the internet is fucking forever.
And it's
And
ferocious. The internet
yes.
will hop on anything like flies on a dead body, dude. Like,
Yes. Like there's Eric July. There's a quote with Eric July that keeps getting brought back up. And Eric July's a black guy, right? Where
yeah,
he said someone doctored it to make it seem like he said Nazis are libertarians. And what he was saying was I'd be cool with the Nazi as long as he didn't come after me. And it's like he's like I'm cool with him having his opinion is basically what he's saying. But the comments
yeah,
were doctored and edited enough, like taken out of context to make it look like he was straight up advocating for Nazism, which he wasn't. He's a fucking black guy. Of course he's not a Nazi.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
so people just have to be careful what they post. What I've figured out, the less political posts, the better. I might make a political joke on Facebook here and there, but
Yeah.
like, just shut the fuck up. No one's gonna agree with you. There's no sense in blackballing yourself and starting a pissing match like that
On
lasts a week.
social, yeah, on social media, it's like, man, like, dude, how many times have we been uh, like obviously not me recently, but like how many
Right.
times have we been backstage at a comedy place
Right.
and like you're outside having a cigarette or something
Yeah.
like that and you can have those kind of conversations with people and you know like if it's in person people are a lot less inclined to be aggressive. I think
Yeah, because you don't get smacked in the fucking face on the
exactly
internet. So it's like,
exactly
could
people don't
like,
pull punches on the internet because they don't give a fuck because they're not right
because
in front of you.
it's the same thing as being in your car. Everyone's
Mhm.
super aggressive on the road with road rage because you got your 2,000-pound car to protect you. Now,
Mhm.
could you imagine if people talked the way they do to each other face to face, the same way they did on the internet?
Yeah.
I mean, the
Like
prisons
that
would be full.
like
Like,
because I remember seeing that Don Seeger commented on that thing with a little bit going like bringing back up that whole fucking dick swinging contest those two had online and I was just like,
well,
oh my god,
I
dude.
mean, Ashley's messages to Don read a little bit like a creepy ex-girlfriend. I am
Mhm.
not gonna lie there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it was. I mean, and I'm not outing anybody's private shit. This has all been posted in
it
public, so
was
it's
it was
out there.
public
I'm not.
comments
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm not violating anyone's trust. You know, he
They
said, she
had
said. It's all out there.
they had their initial thing on public comments on I think it was on the Omaha comedian page, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
they went at it, and
We talked about it on the show too, I remember.
and I think at first I thought Don was just being a dick to Ashley, and then I
Mhm.
found out that Ashley had been excessively messaging him over and over and over again, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I'd probably be kind of a dick to you too. Like,
Yeah.
just sending, yeah, like the stuff about Trump and like, dude, because I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people on the Trump thing, I feel like a lot of people on both sides, that not just jackasses on the internet, but people I know personally, um, I look back and I can see that a lot of them have spiraled since that election. Just aggressive and angry people they have become.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, yeah, look at how everything is around. Like it
yeah,
everything that entices a emotional reaction is always in front of your face like all the time.
and
And
Facebook does that on purpose.
Twitter does it. Yeah, the news does it.
Yeah,
Like every news page, you can't go on to like a Google. You know, you can't go on to any kind of like homepage for anything without seeing some NBC or ABC news article about something that pisses you off. You know
right.
what I mean?
Well, Facebook fucks with the algorithm because I have
Mhm.
Facebook groups I joined like 6 years ago. I don't even remember being in them, and I'll be scrolling through and I'll see a post that's like something I clearly disagree with, And I'm like, why the fuck is this at the top of my newsfeed? I haven't looked in this group for years. And I'm like, oh, they knew that pissed me off, and that'd make me more likely to comment. Like that's what they do, because it's all about the clicks.
I've got one group on Facebook that I save for just being a dick on like going on and just like arguing with people and stuff for sport. Yeah. But I do it only in this one controlled closed group, and that's it. If I see stuff on like meme pages or something like that, I'll just ignore it, man. It's not worth getting all worked up over something.
Exactly. And that's my thing is I will defend myself on my own post. Yeah. But especially another comedian, I'm not going to seek them out and attack them on their shit. If you post some shit I disagree with, I'm going to scroll past it. It's not fucking worth it for me to sit here. Like, what good comes from me getting into a pissing match with somebody on Facebook about whether or not the government should run health care? What good comes from neither of us are in Congress. We're not going to sway anyone's fucking opinion. It's a waste of time.
You're not gonna change anybody's opinion on that kind of stuff for the most part, anyway. I mean, unless you're like finding somebody that's openly like asking you to like change their mind about something. Yeah, I've started using Reddit a lot more during the pandemic. I started
using Wayfair.
Dude, man.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
We will. But I started using Reddit a lot more. And I first started off just kind of using like small, like following like NFL pages and like stuff like that interests me, like art and that kind of stuff, music. But I really try to stay off of like the news and political pages because it's just kind of a leftist circle jerk on there.
Right.
You like bring up like some legitimate point about anything that's opposite that hive mind way of thinking, and you just get like downvoted to hell. And I've seen it, so I just avoid those places.
Right.
But you'll see sometimes on there some of the forums on there that are like actually people like asking you to change their mind about stuff, and like,
oh really?
Yeah, I think that's where you should save the serious discussion for like when people are like actually asking to discuss it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and that reminded me, we're talking about like the Facebook pissing matches. Do you know who Ben Miles is?
No. Is he a newer comedian in Omaha?
He's a comedian in Omaha. I think he's been doing it for a while. Kind of a weird guy. I'm going to be straight. The first time I met this guy, I thought he was going to shoot the fucking club up just by the way he looked and carried himself.
Nice.
So he posted... I mean, dude just goes, another guy, but he's like Ashley on the left. Another guy just lives to fucking talk shit on Facebook.
Oh, you know who that also reminds me of one of those kids that does comedy too. That's on, I don't know. I think he might have blocked me or something on Facebook, so I don't see his stuff too much anymore. But
which one?
I can tell you off screen.
Okay.
I get you. I get what you were saying though. Like somebody that's always posting like this angry socialist stuff.
Yes.
Like, why we should have socialized medicine, and if you don't agree with it, then you're a fucking monster.
Right. Well, this guy's worse. So this guy's like social justice warrior type, and these are public posts. He's very proud of the way he behaves on social media. So we're gonna go ahead and read this. All right. Here we go. Here's a fun fact for my haters. You don't have any haters. Let's make that clear. You don't have any haters.
Yeah.
Just because you can only see my online shit talking online doesn't mean I don't talk shit in real life. It's just because my online shit talking is the only shit talk you can see online. A lot of usage of the word online there. Can't believe I had to explain this, but my haters are nothing if not extraordinarily simple-minded. Bonus fact, if you try to insult me with things I have just moments ago told you about myself, it proves how easily manipulated you are. I wouldn't be telling you about this stuff if you throwing it back at me wouldn't just bounce off. Block me if you have to. For instance, if you are a pathetic coward like Kill Theodric. The time of getting to say racist, homophobic, fatphobic, transphobic, rapist enabling, victim shaming shit on your timeline will be called out without being called out is over. What a social justice warrior. Here's my thing.
Man.
Another example of if people talk this way in person, the fucking prisons would be full right now.
Yeah.
Like, and so here's what happened. Was Kill made a joke on Facebook about what should happen to a woman that falsely accuses a man of rape? She goes to jail. That man's wife or mother, wife, or sister gets to smack the living shit out of her, or all of the above. And Ben comments saying, "Wow, Kill, what a strange way to admit that you're a rapist." I'm like, oh,
what's this guy's name again?
Benjamin Miles. It's like, first off, bro, and again, all public, not outing anybody, you are walking down slander boulevard right there. Like, that's, if you're gonna outright call someone, and he in several comments called Kill a rapist, if you're gonna call someone a rapist, you might want to check, like, you better have fucking facts, like, because that's my thing with me. If someone's going to accuse me of something that's that heinous, you better have fucking facts, or you will be getting a letter from a lawyer. I don't care if I have to go into debt to shut you up. I will prove you wrong. That's my thing. And
yeah, God, you know, here's like a rule of thumb I'll use to like ignore opinions about people.
Yeah.
Is if they think that the person on the other side of the argument to them is an idiot and like openly says that.
Right.
Like, I'm just like, dude, you're like, what you're saying is not worth listening to. Like,
right. Well, what's funny is I'll share like an article, and him and Ashley will both comment and attack me from the left and the right, and they just inevitably clash and argue with each other.
Oh, that's fucking terrible, dude.
That's hilarious. Like,
that's post interactions, man. Hell yeah, it's game in the system,
Let's
dude.
Do it, baby. Let them argue.
I'm pretty sure that's what like fucking mainstream news stuff does, man. They do that shit on purpose to like fucking get more comments and stuff.
Oh, definitely do.
That's smart. It's fucking smart, dude.
Definitely do. But I mean, yeah, it's like that's my rule is I'm not going to say something to somebody on the internet that I wouldn't say to them in real life.
Yeah, I type on the internet kind of like how I talk in person, and then I'll go back and edit it and grammarize it and everything, because like I talk like a fucking idiot sometimes. So.
Right. Well, it's like, and that's my thing is it's like, I'll just tell you to shut the fuck up online, because that's what I do in person right before I walk away from
and then tell them their kids aren't theirs.
I would also I have told hecklers at comedy shows that their kids aren't theirs. I have no problem involving your children. I will absolutely take it there.
I laugh about it with my kid, because my kid looks just like me, so I can be like, dude, she looks just like me, fucking idiot. Like, what are you talking about, man? She literally looks like a Mexican version of me.
Yeah. That's my thing, though. Is it's like I always take it to the kids. There's no more ruthless way. Go straight for the throat, baby. In person, let's do it. We're going for the kids. Like
so that one Facebook page I'm in has like a lot of people from both the left and the right that comment on there, and like the right wing people are kind of annoying because they're really predictable, like the kind of shit that they react.
Oh, of course, to. Yeah.
Same kind of with the left-wing people, but like what they say sometimes is a little bit more out there. You know what I mean? The kind of shit that they'll say are like, excuse me, what?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of just fucking fun to read through sometimes like that.
Oh, for sure. Okay. So, I don't want to shift topic. The world is run by pedophiles.
Yeah, we do got to talk about this, man, because have you read into it a lot? Because I haven't read into it very much. The
Wayfair thing?
Yeah.
So here's the thing with Wayfair is it's super creepy that these like items, I mean, it's like no one's paying $13,000 for that shelf. Like, and that's Wayfair's like, oh, it's industrial. That's why it was that expensive. That was their cop out. I'm like, bro, I worked in a warehouse when I was younger. That shit's a couple $100 at the most. They cheap out. There's no warehouse in the fucking country dropping $13,000 on a shelf like that. So that's a lie. Okay?
You would also think, though, too, that people would be paying more than $13,000 for like stolen kids. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know what the market is, so I can't.
I don't either. But like, I don't know. I could be completely talking out of my ass here, but I'd imagine the kids would probably be worth a lot more than that. You know what? You know what they might have been doing too? I read somebody kind of disassembling the case with it and everything. Mm-hmm. That they were just like. And they kind of were convincing, so like I don't know what side to be on this. They were like, it's really unlikely that like that actually happened, just because it's like it's fucking Amazon, you know what I mean? Like it's
third party.
Really hard. Well, it'd still be really hard to get that through everything, you know what I mean?
So the theory is that it's not like they're sending the kid to you in a shelf.
Yeah.
They're accepting payment for the shelf or the pillow.
Basically
and then they
money
give you
laundering, yeah.
which I could see. It maybe not with sex trafficking of kids, but like drug dealers, stuff
Yeah,
like arms dealers. I could see that.
exactly. Yeah, I could see that with like drug dealing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm just surprised that a kid costs half as much as my Kia.
I'm surprised it happened on Amazon and not like eBay or something because nobody uses. Oh well, I thought there was links on Amazon that it was happening with too.
Oh, I think Amazon might link you to Wayfair as like a third-party
or something
site.
like that because isn't Wayfair is like the actual like company, right, that sells the furniture, right?
They do, but they also sell through third parties, so you can go on and sell stuff on there. But
like I said, I haven't.
Go ahead.
I haven't read as much into it as like other people have, just because like it's one of those things where all the facts are kind of fucking crazy on the internet.
So there's pictures now of the CEO from Wayfair with Epstein's girlfriend, though. That's where it gets fucking wild. So the thing with the items being named after the kids, some of the kids are still missing and some of them are not. And some of the kids have come forward and been like, why the fuck are you using me for an internet conspiracy? Like, I ran away from home. I came back. It's not a big deal. But, so the theory there is that they're naming them after the kids because the kid they've got resembles that kid.
And aren't they? They're doing like really generic names on it too.
No,
right?
Some of them are like Yamira and stuff like that. That's like not generic.
Okay. So yeah, it's still kind of weird, I guess. I don't know.
It's weird.
It's weird. That's like the only thing I can say about it, because like internet conspiracy. It reminds me a lot of the Pizzagate thing. Like people are saying a lot of really convincing things about it, but it's just like, fuck, man, like that's so crazy. Like it's really hard.
Pizzagate got put to bed really quickly. We've been over this a million times on the show. I'm not saying that I think they were selling kids out of this pizza place, but I think it got dismissed really, really fucking quickly.
Yeah, people in the mainstream were really quick to be like, nope, this isn't true. Nope,
turn your eye. And then Snopes investigation into Wayfair. Did you see that?
No.
So Snopes determined that the Wayfair child trafficking was false, and the investigation that they conducted to determine this was false was ask Wayfair if it was true.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I saw somebody making fun of that, where they were like a journalist. There's like a journalist is like, oh, ask Wayfair. Oh, we didn't do it, and they're like, oh shit, hey, you hear that? They didn't do it, guys.
They said no.
Exactly.
They said no. I mean,
dude,
it's like
that's some investigative journalism right there, man. Fuck.
Did they do it? Well, we asked them. They said no. Who would admit to something like that?
Yeah, dude. Like that's
the
authority. That's the quote unquote authority on whether or not it's liable or not. So like even stuff like that too just fuels the conspiracy theories. So like Snopes, dude, just like shut the fuck up. If like you're not gonna make like the fact that they did that just as adding fuel onto the fire for people.
Yeah. So you want to talk about fuel to fire conspiracies? I've got a friend who has asked to remain nameless.
Okay.
He went, so 4th of July, he went to a party. Nobody that they know of tested positive for Rona.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 4th of July was a Saturday. That Wednesday, he started getting a stomach bug and like a phlegmy cough, which aren't symptoms. Rona's a dry cough and respiratory, right? So,
well, kind of. I know one of the things about the coronavirus, and this is why a lot of people think that it was made in the lab.
Yeah.
It's because the virus itself is really, really good at mutating to infect different tissues. So that's like the scientific explanation as to why so many people are experiencing all these crazy different symptoms.
Yeah. So Wednesday he went and got tested, or excuse me, Thursday he went and got tested. Friday he felt completely fine. All the symptoms were gone. Yeah. Monday, yesterday, the day we're recording this, he got called and they said, hey, we got your test back. You're corona free. It must have just been a bug or something.
Yeah.
And then the next day he gets an email saying you have coronavirus.
From who? Who did he get the email from? The lab?
Yeah, he went to the National Guard Testing Center and they're the ones that emailed him. I know 3 people this has happened to. So I don't know, are there false negatives and they're rerunning it, or are they just like, let's pump these fucking numbers up?
I don't know, man. Like it's really hard for me to just like believe anything when it comes to this coronavirus shit, man. Because it's
I am so lost. Like some days
Yeah.
I feel like I need to wear an N95 everywhere I go, and then some days I feel like the mask thing is like a way to manipulate us and just
I
slowly
wear the
walk us into
masks.
vaccines.
I only wear the mask just because I'm like, for one, I just want to be left alone in public. Like, I don't want people coming up to me because it's not really that big a deal to wear a mask, in my opinion. And um, even if it gives me like a 5% protection, you know what I mean? Like, that's better than nothing, I guess.
Right.
And it's really annoying to me when people on the internet are like, the only argument they have about it to wear a mask is like, consider other people. I'm like, bro, when do you ever consider
You never
anybody with
considered other
fucking
people.
anything?
Yeah,
It's
said the
like,
guy who was texting and driving and has probably
yeah,
gotten away with about 39 DUIs.
literally,
Yeah,
dude.
like that's
This
exactly.
holier than thou opinion on shit is just like, shut the fuck up. Like,
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
that's my thing. And that's like,
You can't just be selective about that kind of stuff. Like,
no.
do this, but yeah, me texting and driving though, that's fine.
Right.
I can't get on my soapbox about that on the internet. So
Right. That's exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's like you fucking I wear a mask because I'm considerate. You got fucking trashed last weekend and drove home, you piece of shit. Like,
exactly, dude.
you're not you're only considerate of other people when it gives you the chance to feel morally superior.
Exactly. And I think with the whole virus thing is like people are just scared.
Like,
And then on the other side of the argument too, though, when I see people complaining about like, oh, like its death rate and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, but that's not like the whole thing to be worried about. There's like a really high percentage of people that had the virus that like have permanently fucked up lungs after it. So it's like,
so those people though already had issues.
not
It's
all of them though.
worsening.
Not all of them, because a lot of people just got it and had like really scarred lung tissue. Like if you had like really bad pneumonia, like pneumonia does that. Pneumonia causes lung scarring. So like when
Oh, I
pneumonia is
know. I
yeah.
almost died from bronchitis that turned into pneumonia a couple years
Yeah.
ago. Like,
And I had bacterial pneumonia before, and I remember like trying to run after that, like my
yeah.
whole lower part of my lungs.
Oh yeah, dude, bacterial anything. I mean
Yeah.
that can fucking, like, I knew a guy, he had bacterial bronchitis that turned into bacterial pneumonia. He lived in Wisconsin. He was one of 27 people who got it. 25 of them died.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I got
no
that shit
joke.
in basic training too, man. Like
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna fucking
So
die from
it's
it.
something that and I feel like this is a good dry run of look at all the mistakes we're making. Imagine if something had the infectivity rate of the coronavirus and the fatality, like it's killing young, healthy people, like on the regular. Because,
Yeah.
and I know everyone, oh, this girl was 23 and she died of COVID with no underlying conditions. She may or may not have been built like an industrial-sized fridge. We may never know, but it's such a one-off. If you get COVID in your 20s, you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's like I said before too, where like they know that it's just the virus itself, the nature of the virus, it's really good at infecting different types of tissues.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been saying, me, I've been saying it ever since the beginning that China made this shit in a lab.
I could see it.
And yeah, the fact that a lot of people are denying that and everything is like really dangerous, because they're just basically going to let China get away with it and keep on fucking experimenting with viruses. You know
Now,
what I mean?
I seem to remember some internet sleuths a while ago, like back last year around like September, August,
Yeah.
noticed that like the heat that China was radiating off, like from outer space, like on the map, it was super high, like they were burning bodies. So
they might have been doing that to the Uyghurs.
Yeah, that's true. So like, what if they made, like you said, made the virus in a lab and sent it out, let it run through their people first so they could get the herd immunity build up and figure out, more effective ways to fight it, then set it free on the world.
I don't think they were malicious with it. I think because China does this with a lot. Yeah, because they do it with a lot of their other industry. I think they just fucked up because they suck at like everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's like what's more likely that, like, I mean, you're talking about a lab that had been cited before by the World Health Organization for like failing to be safe in that virus lab.
Right.
And then you want to tell me that like 2 years later,
Right.
They just some crazy bat virus just happens to get out like out of fucking nowhere. You know what I mean?
No, I don't buy it.
Especially from this same lab that like I literally have the documents. I have
the documents.
I have the published a published a paper that lab created on a .gov like health website about how they were experimenting with coronaviruses from a particular bat-borne virus.
Yeah.
By like putting a HIV stuff into it, and they got it to cross over from a bat to a person that
Holy
way.
shit.
And this was 2011.
Publish that on the Facebook page.
Yeah, right, dude. I could post like I had to save it on my phone because I was arguing with some guy about like and this was like months ago. It was like April.
Yeah.
How likely it was that the virus was created in that lab in China, and you gotta cite your sources, man, because people aren't happy with you just saying some stuff that sounds like it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta cite your sources. So
yeah. Well, and that's so coronavirus, like I said, I feel like it's a dry run for the real thing. You know what I mean? I don't feel this isn't the end of humankind. We're going to look at this 10 year or society. Yeah. We're going to look at this 10 years from now, and maybe life will be a little bit different, but I feel like 10 years from now, we're going to be like, hey, remember that year where everything was canceled and like the football teams had, you know, paper mache fans and stuff like that. And and where it's going to be like, not much is going to be different.
Shit, maybe the Redskins will have fucking more fans in their stadium that way.
And so, but imagine if like HPPD came out, chronic wasting disease. I don't know what HPPD is. Chronic wasting disease, the one that affects the deer, that's 100% fatal in deer. Imagine if that ever transmitted to humans.
Isn't that the thing that's like mad cow disease, but for deer?
For deer, it kills you faster though.
Okay.
HPPD. That's
HPV,
when you
imagine if HPV.
No, HPPD is when you take too much acid and you stay on a permanent trip. I don't know why that came to mind.
That probably won't affect everybody.
That will not spread to anyone. No, you're good. But yeah, people see like digital rain or something. It's called like, yeah, it's a weird thing. If you ever Google it, if you ever have time, look it up. It's people like go crazy and kill themselves over it if it gets bad enough. They have like shadows on their brains and shit. But yeah, mad cow's another one. Dude, do you know mad cow takes 10 years to manifest?
I've heard it takes even longer to actually it's like 100% fatal because it's like
100%. Never been treated successfully.
It's I think it's pronounced a prion. It's like basically a fucked up protein
You could have eaten a hamburger 10 years ago and dropped dead from it when you're 40.
Basically, I know they researched it, and like when it was crazy, like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago.
It was a craze. It never got bad, but yeah.
Because they figured out that basically it was caused from like them feeding cows like themselves. Like,
yeah, they eat their own shit.
That's what these like industrial cow lots would be doing, is they'd be feeding cows like this, their own shit would get into their food and they die, animals would die and get their own food. Yeah, it was like pretty messed up. But.
Yeah, they'd eat their own shit, and that's how it would, and that's how it got bad. So it was,
you want to tell me anybody eating shit ain't going to get messed up with their health, you know what I mean?
Well, so one of my comedian friends from Lincoln, Gabe Freyer, him and his girlfriend got coronavirus. And
did they really? Like legit? Like they felt like they got it?
No, tested positive, had symptoms, were exposed to somebody who had it, both lived together. So he said his was just, I was like, how was it? He goes, I've had worse flus. Like body aches were weird, sore throat. It was a little, he's like, breathing hurt a little bit, but not too bad. Like I had a cough and stuff like that and a headache. But he's like, I mowed the lawn. I'm like, dude, I've had flus where there are stomach bugs where there's no way in hell I could have mowed the lawn. So it's like, and his girlfriend was fine, had no symptoms other than loss of taste and smell.
Wow. So I've heard a couple things about the coronavirus before I describe this, that I've heard that people with A positive blood get affected worse than anybody else.
Oh, really?
I have A positive, which is, it's the most common blood type. So I don't know, maybe the data is skewed on that. I'm not sure. But I know I have A positive blood. My mother-in-law does, right? I started experiencing those, like, all literally, and her too, all the symptoms of coronavirus, like a couple weeks after I moved down here to El Paso.
Which was in...
This was in the beginning, like a week into February, right?
Okay.
So like it was pretty crazy, but like not like, it wasn't like everybody is shut down yet.
Right.
But the reason I think I might have got it was because like the day, like the week, that week that we moved down here, we drove down here to get our cars and our cats down here, and then we flew back up to Omaha. When we flew up to Omaha, we went through Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
completely unprotected. Fuck. Nobody was protected on there.
No masks, nothing.
Yeah, literally like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, which is, what everyone says
incubation.
Is the incubation period. I got on, like, kicked my ass. Like, I was in bed for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was getting body aches
Yep.
and sore throat and all this stuff. And I don't
get an antibody test.
They're expensive. That's the only reason I haven't done it. But the weird thing was my wife, who's O negative blood type, didn't get any symptoms at all. And I know there's a lot of people that get it that are asymptomatic. So, and dude, she slept next to me. Like, there's no fucking way.
Oh yeah,
got the virus.
If your living significant other has it, you will get it.
Exactly.
You will get it. It's just like the flu, just like anything else. You will get it. The colds.
So I'm like 90% sure I already got the virus. And the only reason I haven't gotten checked is because it's like $300 for an antibody test.
Here it's like $88.
Really? Man, I should send some blood up to there.
No, I'll just send you a test, man.
Yeah, it's like $300, man. I really should, because like if I did get it, it would make me feel better because I have the antibodies.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, it morphs, so it's just like the flu. You can get a different strain, but your body has the antibodies to fight some of it off.
And your immune system is just like better. So like it's like the flu too, where if you get it again, you're not going to be as bad from it. Like I don't really get sick very often, so like the fact that I got sick like that for as long as I did, with those symptoms, I'm just like, man, so, I had to have had it. Like,
so the key to beating it. Not preventing it, but beating it and minimizing your symptoms appears to be vitamin D.
Yep, and I've been taking vitamin D.
I take vitamin D pills every day. I got my girl on vitamin D now.
Dude,
2 types of vitamin D, right?
Dude, the crazy thing is, last month or like a couple months ago, I was doing like my physical with my new doctors down here, and they found out I had a vitamin D deficiency.
85% of Americans do.
Yeah, so I was like, damn, man, it's probably because I never got out in the sun in the wintertime and all. So.
And that's the thing, is it's like it's the people that have the lower their vitamin D levels are, the more likely they are to struggle fighting the virus. And if you look at countries like Africa or like in South America and Mexico, where they don't have great health care, but for some reason a bunch of people aren't getting killed by it, they're out in the sun all fucking day.
Well, it's really weird with Mexico, man. I know, like my wife's mom knows a lot of people, obviously, in Mexico there. She knows a couple people that have actually died from the virus.
For real?
Yeah, dude. Like,
shit.
I don't know anybody personally, but like,
I know.
I've heard it's really bad down in Mexico. We haven't gone down there in like months.
So I know I know at least 4 people who have had the virus. I know one person who was on a ventilator because of the virus.
Really?
He lived. He's okay. He's probably going to have fucked up. I mean, he's an older guy I was a friend's dad. Older guy with lung problems. They lived in New York, though. So I know
though that strain is like really more aggressive than other, because it's like been able to hop around people so much.
Yep. He's in his 60s with lung problems though, so it's like it was gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's like one of the at-risk people. So it was like, and that was the other thing. There's so much like fear mongering. I read a fucking study the other day. The headline of the article said half of coronavirus patients have heart issues or prolonged heart issues or something like that, like permanent damage to their heart. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I click it, and it's like, yeah, the average age of the person we tested was 62. We've half the people already had pre-existing heart conditions. 54% had severe COVID and were hospitalized because of it. I'm like, okay, well, there's half right there already had the problem. So
data skewing.
Wow, look, we rigged our survey. Oh, look at that.
Data skewing to get a headline.
This is the result I wanted. Well, did you know that if you took 50 people with pre-existing heart conditions after they got over COVID, they're still going to have a pre-existing heart condition? What the fuck?
Here's
Wow.
here's the other thing about that though is remember what I had said where
Yeah.
the virus has been shown that it's really good at like changing itself
Yeah.
and infecting other tissues. So like I mean your heart is pretty directly linked to your lungs. Like in certain
Right.
cases I'm sure it's pretty easy for that virus to manipulate itself to start it and getting into your heart.
Right.
So and I've seen stuff where people say like, oh, a new symptom found that people get diarrhea. I'm like, how the fuck are people getting diarrhea from
Yeah.
a lung virus?
From a
You know?
lung virus, right?
So
No, it's
there
like
you go. It's because it can
yeah.
change itself. Like
Yeah. We just need an STD test. Seriously, we need go piss in a cup, or not obviously piss in a cup, but like, go swab your mouth, and we'll have the results to you in 20 minutes, like that. We get rid of the virus in a month if we could do that. We wouldn't need a cure.
It feels to me like it's a lot like how like the swine flu, or not the swine flu, how the Spanish flu was back in like
with a way lower kill rate though.
Yeah, although on the Spanish flu, I think the Spanish flu was a lot more deadly just because modern medicine is a lot crazier than it was 100 years ago.
Yeah, that too.
So I feel like it's 2 years from this, we'll all be making memes about it. You know?
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
probably all of us that are left, right?
Yeah, all of us are left. Yeah, you gotta think they didn't have ventilators, man, back then. Like, if 100 years ago, anybody that has been put on a ventilator would be dead.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's like strep throat back then. Before penicillin, strep throat, 50-50 fucking chance you're going to live if you get strep throat.
Exactly, yeah. Before antibiotics, too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's modern medicine does a lot. People, like, and that's my thing, is if you're listening to this, I'm not trying to be a doomsayer or anything like that. If you're a younger person, if you take decent care of your body, if you don't have serious issues with your lungs or heart and you get it, you're probably going to be fine. Don't go cough down your grandma's throat, but don't live your life in fear. Like, that's...
Yeah, just, I mean, if you got to go out, like, and just fucking wear a mask, because it's like, you know what I mean?
Depends where you're going. Don't be one of those retards that wears it while you're like walking your dog.
Yeah, I only wear it when I go into a grocery store. Like if I'm walking down to the mailbox or something.
Right.
And even when I leave the grocery store, if there's nobody around me, I take it off.
Outside, you're usually good.
Exactly, and that's because of like the UV rays. It kills the viruses. Like.
That's right.
So it's like, if you're walking your dog around, you're probably fine. But it's like common sense, man. Do people really just not have common sense?
Well, and that's my other thing is it's like I think the 6 foot is a little excessive and that won't stick around. But it's like, hopefully people can figure out that, bro, pandemic or no pandemic, you don't need to stand right over my shoulder in line at the grocery store.
Exactly, dude. Like, why are you doing that on the first place?
You don't. There's 9 urinals here. Don't piss right next to me, jackass. Like,
yeah, dude.
Don't come sit next to me at the bar unless you know me when there's all these seats open.
That's why I feel like why everything has to be so fear mongering is because there's fucking people that are like that would do that anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's got to be like, no, don't do that, as if you're being talked to like a little child. Well, it's like, well, there's people out there that need to be talked to like little children because they do that kind of stuff. Like,
so, I mean, these people that like the woman you see like sitting down in Costco because they asked her to wear a mask, they look ridiculous. But on the flip side, so do the people that are like screaming at other people, "Where's your fucking mask?" And there was a guy that some guy posted some shit talking about I won't wear a mask, and he had a heart issue and he died at like 37 of COVID, right? He posted some conspiracy about like, I'm not going to buy a fucking mask, blah, blah, blah. And he died of it. That's tragic. Whether you agree with the guy or not, it's tragic. So there is a big difference between people who wear masks and mask people, right? People who wear masks, they throw their mask on and they go to the grocery store, go about their day. Mask people need to wear that.
I'm a mask person. Yeah, I don't. I just, if I see somebody not wearing a mask, I just avoid them.
No, a mask person would yell at that person.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're a person who wears a mask.
To be fair, too, I've never seen anybody in person like get after somebody in public. I'm not surprised up in Omaha because there's a lot of dickheads up in Omaha, dude.
So these mask people went to this guy's memorialized Facebook page where his relatives were posting like rest in peace, all this shit. and they were making fun of him. They were harassing his relatives. They're, you deserve to die. You play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You get what you fucking deserve. The Joker meme and stuff like that. I'm like, that's a fucking cult. That's fucking
not
toxic.
That's not what like the world needs, right? People don't need that right now.
The guy maybe you don't agree with him. Maybe he was an asshole, whatever.
Keep it to your fucking self.
Don't go torch his Facebook page and harass. That's a cult.
Talk shit about it with your friends. Like, laugh about it, like showing it to your friend by like text message or something. Don't fucking message them on Facebook.
Those are people with something that is fundamentally wrong with them.
Just bullies, man. That's
exactly. They wouldn't do it in person because, again, we're looping it back in. We're doing the callback like I like to do in my stand-up. They wouldn't say that shit in person because they get put in a fucking ICU.
Or maybe they would. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows, man? Because I don't know these people in person because I don't associate with people that are dickheads like that. So.
Exactly. I don't talk to masked people. They're a very small minority.
You just see like screenshots of them doing that shit on like Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
they don't leave the internet.
People like that exist. I'm aware of it.
Yeah. Very small percentage though.
Yeah. Thankfully, most people are actually pretty good. Like
most people are cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should we wrap it up?
I think so, man. We did a good hour. We did
an hour. That's anything we want to plug?
The usual stuff. Hey, and make sure, guys, if you're still listening, send us some messages on the Anchor, man. It's really easy to do. All you got to do is just go to our Anchor homepage and press send message. It's that easy. And you can send us comments about what you guys think. If you're listening on YouTube too, just comment what you guys think about what we're talking about. We're very open to have conversations with our audience. So.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
As long as you stay 6 feet away from us, though.
That's right. That's right. Just like. All right, man. Let's shut her down. What do you say?
Deuces, everybody.
Peace out, y'all.